I wanted to work. I've always had jobs. I had a job since I was 15. I used to go to the gym and work at the gym from 4 a.m. till 6:45 a.m. and then I would go over to my high school, and then I would do my high school day and then my sports after. I've always worked. And that was just the thing. I was just going to be like, hey, listen, if I don't make it in baseball, where a lot of my friends who I played with through Little League and high school made the pros, some didn't make it, and a lot of them didn't make the money that they should have for whether it was football or baseball. And I just looked at it like, I need to go and I need to work, start a career. I got in with this alarm company, started work with this alarm company. They weren't paying me. And I was wondering what's going on. And I didn't know rug addict behavior, right? I didn't understand it. I grew up in a police family, right? Like I was very secluded from that. I mean, my dad used to have his friends come over and they would sit and talk about a bust they were about to do. And I'd be sitting there just listening in and learning about how they worked, right? Because I was by trait supposed to become a cop. By family narrative, I was supposed to become a cop. My dad was in the military. He was a Marine, and then he became a cop. My brother's first job was he was a cadet, and then he became a cop. Right? And that was like what I was supposed to do, but I didn't want to become a cop. I didn't want it. I wanted to live my life, right? I wanted to enjoy life, and I saw my dad gone a lot. And when you have a police in your family, you got to understand their main job, it's God, country, family, right? That's how military people think too. But their job is their family first, because if they don't live at their job, they can't come home to their actual family, right? So like my dad was gone a lot. He would pick up a lot of shifts. He would be gone a lot. It was me, my mom, and my brother. And so like that through the later years, I wasn't happy. I was working for this alarm company, and they weren't paying me, and I'm just like, what's going on here? So I go into the garage one day, and there's a big pile in front of them, and it's not money. It was the ME with the TH at the end of it. That was the first time I tried that, and I was hooked. I enjoyed being awake. I enjoyed being alert. I enjoyed just running around, right? Exploring, and doing things of that nature, right? So that happened. That was my very first experience with it. And right soonly after that, since my dad is a DRE expert, which is a rug with a D recognition expert, and so is my brother, I never got away with things for too long. Couldn't do stuff for too long. Matter of fact, Ventura County Sheriffs called me Houdini, because I knew how the system worked. I knew how their secret departments worked, especially that unit. And they had a hard time catching me. And when they caught me, they threw the book at me every time, whether I deserved it or not. I always got the strictest punishments because my family were police, and it was always their departments that were interested in me, right? Because when I started using, and I wasn't mixing the rugs with the alcohol. I wasn't. I was just pure rug. I was like a rug dealer, right? Persian carpets, things of that nature, right? I always looked at the business aspect of things. Like I always wanted to be the guy that people were coming to, right? And back in the 80s and 90s and early 2000s, it was a lot safer if you were using. Nowadays, you can't use shit without certain stuff being in it that will just instantly take you away, right? And so like those were like that was the stuff I got into, man. My addiction led me into like lying, stealing, cheating, not on people, like, but just however I had to cheat the system, right? I stole pew-pews from my dad to protect myself and sell them also. And these are like police issued shit, like some like some like crazy stuff, right? And like I did things. I would hung out with people, and no matter who was in the group, I would always be the one spotted. They always knew this guy right here, blonde hair, blue eyes, right? I was always the one who was picked out. I took a lot of falls for a lot of people, But I did a lot of stupid shit myself too, and that I got caught for. I would say like I got caught for only 50% of the stuff I did. Right? Only like 50%. But when I got caught again, they threw the book at me. Right? And then I had this hatred for cops too, right? I had this ill will in my stomach for them, right? It was a cat and mouse game all the time. My dad, when I was running around, and I took it away from my area of Thousand Oaks where I grew up, I never used around my family. I didn't want to put my family in danger because I was dealing with some pretty bad people. Like the stuff you see in movies, where people have briefcases, one's money, there's a pile of other stuff, and people have all pew-pew standing around and there's deals going on. That's the kind of shit I got into. That was where I wanted to be. I wanted to make the money, I wanted to live the life, and I wanted to, college was not even a thought anymore at that process in my mind. It wasn't even a thought process anymore, right? Fuck the scholarship, fuck all that. I didn't want to play anymore. I was just doing my thing, right? But my dad would actually pay. They had my phone bill still, right? My mom was paying my phone bill, bless her heart. But with a phone bill comes all the phone numbers that you call, that you make contact with. My dad was calling those phone numbers as a policeman, as a sheriff, a sergeant for the Los Angeles Sheriffs. He was meeting with these people who were on rugs or selling them, didn't care what they were doing. He tracked my ass down, picked me up in Sylmar off Polk Street. Right? Track my ass down. And to me, I hate that. That made me so mad. But I love him so much for it. Fuck. I had such a terrible relationship for a while with him. Right? Everything was his fucking fault. When it was my fault. Right? My fault. Like I put my family in some fucked up positions. On top of myself. Right? I'll never forget when he turned me into Victorville. I thought we were going to breakfast. We were going to have a talk. Took me to Victorville jail. I didn't leave that jail but to go to prison. A lot of people don't even know I did 3 years in prison. For for pew-pew charges. Right? For pew-pew charges. Got caught twice with them. Protected myself. Right? But I was running around that life. I was running around Victorville, like the capital for that kind of stuff, right? That cheap rug, right? Like, and then I was running around like areas like that, going around doing my thing, in and out of motels, riding around in a Mustang with 20-inch ribs on them, right? My mom, bless her heart, like, even though that she helped with a lot of the funding of the stuff, like, she loved me, and that's why she gave me money. It was never about anything else. Yes, 100%. Victorville is terrible. It's Victimville, right? And so that's what I was doing. I was running around. I spent the last part of my 21-year-old age. Well, let's just say it was 2001 to 2004. I spent at Wasco. V22821 was my prison number. For many years. I never had a name when you were there. You're not a name, you're a number. Right? 21-year-old, right? Like I had some minor stuff that I did like a few days in jail before that, right? Some deals I took, right? But I ended up in the big house on a big yard, right? I was on the 2 yard. I was in A2. That's the main yard. My first bunkies were there for life. My first bunkie didn't make it out of there. It didn't make it out of there. When I actually got in there so late, I didn't get in there until like 4 a.m. and they popped the cells at like 4:30 to 5 a.m. for breakfast, for chow, right? I didn't want to go to chow. I was too tired. First thing that happened when he walked out the jail cell, he got it by other members, and he ended up not living through it. He had so many holes in him. That was my first experience when I was there. It could have been me walking out first. I was another white guy. I could have walked out first and they could have thought I was him. Right? Like, that was scary to me, right? But then I learned that I just got to keep my mouth shut and get through this shit. Right? 3 years is a long fucking time. Right? 3 years is a long time. Before I went to prison, and if you guys want to know why I go so hard on Graceland, is I went to a place called Wavelengths. Fred Siegel owned it. He owned many properties. It was $30,000 a month. 30 fucking thousand a month to go there in Malibu, right next to where it was there. It could have been me walking out first. I was another white guy. I could have walked out first and they could have thought I was him. Right? Like, that was scary to me, right? But then I learned that I just got to keep my mouth shut and get through this shit. Right? 3 years is a long fucking time. Right? 3 years is a long time. Before I went to prison, and if you guys want to know why I go so hard on Graceland, is I went to a place called Wavelengths. Fred Siegel owned it. He owned many properties. It was $30,000 a month. 30 fucking thousand a month to go there in Malibu, right next to where Graceland is, down Canaan. I went there and I didn't last a month. Why? Because I snuck shit in. Got caught by a house manager who in turn relapsed by the stuff that I had. And the only reason why I got kicked out is because they admitted that they used and got fired because of me. And I was turned in for that. I ended up getting kicked out of that place that we made a deal. It was only 10 for me that my dad got me in for 10. They made a deal. I guess they needed money, body brokering the same way as Graceland does. Same fucking thing. But we had an on-site chef. That was the only difference. We had an on-site chef. But like, I failed that program. Rehabs and sober living houses and everything. There was 2 sober living houses on that property and the rehab. Yeah, a chef upgrade. Right? But I snuck stuff in. I was twirling that thing inside the bathroom for hours before I got that program. Rehabs and sober living houses and everything. There was 2 sober living houses on that property and the rehab. Yeah, a chef upgrade. Right? But I snuck stuff in. I was twirling that thing inside the bathroom for hours before. And I was like, listen, you need to look over this stuff for me. And you can validate any of these people's questions because it has every single arrest on there, everything I've ever done. There's no DV. There's no SA. There's none of that shit. Anything that's been claimed in these videos that have been put out about me or Reddits all came from people who didn't like me because I did the right thing or were doing the wrong things and covering their own asses. And if you guys want to look me up, you guys can look me up. I'm not a hard person to fucking find. You can look me up. Am I proud of some of the charges that I have on there for like theft and all kinds of shit like that? No. Most of my, like 10 of my charges or more are from when I was a First Amendment auditor down to when there was a patient dumping in Lancaster that I captured on camera where a hospital dumped a lady in a spit bag out under a truck and left her there to get backed over. And I caught it on camera. Went viral on YouTube. Went fucking viral. Right? And then the hate started coming through. Right? That court case finished in 2020. That thing lasted like almost 2 to 3 years in court because they kept making us come back and they couldn't prove anything. They just wanted to hold our devices and our phones and keep it to a minimal. Why? Because we costed that hospital a $500 million deal with Kaiser Permanente. It was that bad. Love you too. It was that bad. Right? And so all these people who were talking about charges of DV or SA, like my aunt was DV'd for so long. Having to see her go through that by James Brown fucking tore my heart up. Knowing I couldn't do anything about it and I was just a 12-year-old kid. Knowing I couldn't do anything about that. Right? Minty's here. You guys can ask her. I mean, I sent my file to all these people. Again, am I proud of some of these stupid charges and things that I did in my addiction? Even into my 30s. Right? Some people take longer to grow up. Some people don't get it. And some people just don't care. Some will, some won't. And so what? Right? But I made a choice to get healthy, get right, and do things that's best for my kids, myself, my family. It took me years to repair. I wasn't invited to a Thanksgiving or a Christmas dinner or anything for I'd say good 18 years. It wasn't until about 4 years ago, that that I started getting included in my families again. My brother, I hang out with him and his daughters. I go to their softball games. I go to my kids' games. I take my kids out to eat. Anything they need, whether it's school, driving lessons. I taught both of my kids to drive. Those are the stuff that I was losing, right? In the past, like certain times of their life, I missed out on a lot of it. I missed out on a fucking lot of it. And I made myself a promise that I'm going to do everything I can to make it right. Make it better. Do the right thing. Get healthy. Get sober. I was drinking all the way until October 1st of this past year. You want to see what I look like October 1st? You want to see what I look like October 1st? Let me show you. That's what I look like October 1st. Look at that chin. Look at that body. All the potential in the world was going out the window. Right? Right? I'm like half of me now. Right? I'm like half of me now. Why? Why? Because I stopped drinking. I don't partake in any kind of rugs. Nothing. I don't smoke. I vape a little bit. Right? But for being 44 years old, I damn near have changed my fucking life. Right? Now I can't figure out how to put my damn shirt back on. Right? Like that was me. I'm like a fucking Slim Fast commercial. I'm like, you know what I'm saying? And you know what? It's hard work. It's fucking hard work, but I work out every day. Why? Because it keeps my mind healthy and right. Keeps my mind healthy and right. And alcohol, you know what? Alcohol is poison. It's fucking poison. Not only is there so much sugar, I was on the verge of diabetes. My feet felt like I was getting stabbed with glass in the bottom of my feet all night long. All night long. Right? All night long. So it's just insane how that kind of shit happens. I have to cut this thing off in a minute, otherwise I'd have a box. We can do a box thing later. I have to go to my kid's game right now. It's 3 o'clock. Its game starts at 3:30 and I have about a 20-minute drive. I didn't even see that there's people in the box. Hey, I'm sorry, you guys. We can do this later? You guys are more than welcome to come up later. Hey, Britt. Good to see you.
Hey, Doug, before you disconnect, I'm going to say it looks really sketch for Crime and Justice to be muting people the way she is in there. Because I know she's been with you from the start. I know she knows the allegations that are dropping on YouTube.
I haven't even seen.
I'm calling her out that it's been really sketchy that people are calling out that she's blocking and muting serious questions in the chat about the allegations. You did not address them, Doug, and I'm a little bit disappointed. And I'm sick, so I don't have my full voice right now, but I would like to talk about this later.
All right. Well, I don't even know what allegations besides what I was told about already. So,
Doug, I know you've seen the videos, so
I haven't seen them all.
I'm going to take a nap while you're at your kid's game, and we can talk about this later. Hopefully, I'll have a better voice so I can talk.
All right. Well,
thanks, Doug.
Yep. I don't know. I thought we talked about the DV, the SA, the allegation of some girl in a park saying that I laid hands on her. None of that shit's true. It's not on my record. It's never been on my record. Never been arrested for anything like that. I'm not sure what anybody else is looking for. But anything on Reddit, anything on YouTube that I have seen, none of that shit is correct. None of that shit's correct. And I don't know what comments were being blocked, but I've come out and I've talked about this already. I've told you guys everything that you guys would want to hear or need to hear. But if you guys want to look me up, you guys are more than welcome to look up my record. You guys are more than welcome to look up my record. But I've never ever had a crime that I've been accused of by anybody that's called me recently. And I don't know if this is more content for people, or another smear campaign. You know, I've dealt with this kind of stuff always in my life. Are you familiar with the source? Maybe you're the wrong person. Like, listen, this is everything that I can tell you, everything that I was asked about on the phone, right? And if people want to leave me and don't like me, or if they want to believe anybody else, I guess it's up to them. But any of the allegations that I was asked about, not true. Not true. I'm lost too. At this point, it's starting to feel like this is a smear campaign or a party coming on. It is what it is. I'm going to continue to make content. If people want to go and start rumors and say things that aren't true and people want to go with it, I can't control that. But again, this seems like a content grab or some kind of smear campaign, but there's no allegations that I've done anything that I haven't covered today. I appreciate you guys. I have to get to my kids' game.